Hello everyone, my name is Hussein Zanati. I'm from Egypt. I'm a PhD candidate at Keitami Institute of Technology in Hokkaido. I'm honored today to present to you Enhancing Active Learning Environment through Cycling Student-Centered Digital Materials Model in Cross-Culture Study Case. First of all, I would like to remind you that at the end of this presentation, we will have an interesting quiz on Arabic numbers. This quiz is one of the learning methods used in this study and created by 5th graders elementary students in Egypt. We will show 3 numbers, 2-digit numbers, and we'll ask you what are these numbers in Arabic language. These are the topics I will be presenting today. Let me talk about the background of my study. My study is the future implementation of my last master course final research project. The topic was related to enhancing students' motivation through engaging in cross-culture activity. The findings showed significant outcomes in the area of being active learner. That provide limited motivation once the students get feedback from their teacher and they finish their project. In my current study, I'm presenting a new instructional model as a learning guide to keep students' motivation and engagement in long-life learning environments and sustain languages, including mother language and foreign language and own culture. Also, to get benefit of the applying technology tools in education. Cycling Student-Centered Digital Materials, CSCDM, is provided as a model of enhancing active learning environment in both rural area in Egypt and in Japan. The model is presented in 3 phases: form, inform, and reform. The 3 phases illustrate the new 6 E's and R learning model. And this 6 E's and R model includes engagement, exploration, explanation, elaboration, evaluation, and re-engagement in order to develop students' metacognitive and long-run motivation in active learning environment. Another unique concept is to provide the opportunity to students to transfer from being active learner to be active educator in local society such as school or community centers and in international cross-culture study case. Research questions. 2 research questions to investigate the effectiveness and availability of this study. Question 1 is on the learning attitude of both Egyptian and Japanese elementary students after implementing CSCDM learning model. Question 2 is to investigate the academical outcomes in enhancing languages and culture awareness. The purpose of this study is illustrated in 3 points. And point number 1 shows that this study will provide a new challenge approach to get benefit of students' past and present experiences. Point number 2 shows that by applying CSCDM learning model, that will transfer students' past and present experiences into future sustained learning environment and transfer students' role from being a knowledge receiver to a knowledge creator and educator. The point number 3 shows how to get benefit of cross-culture digital project in improving students' linguistic and culture awareness together with improving internationalization. Research design and sample. In 6 periods of integrated study, 45 minutes each, 30 5th graders at both Egypt and Japan elementary schools took place in this study. Students were divided into 6 groups to develop a cross-culture learning DVD. Each group develops one topic related with other groups. As shown here on the screen, that, for example, group number 1 was presenting Japanese traditional games. Group number 2, Japanese card games, which is karta. And this karta has not existed in Egypt, and was a good chance for Egyptian students to learn the Japanese language through a new game, very interesting game. Group number 3, sports and skating. They were showing the kind of like how the Japanese students use their winter sports, how they play the winter sports. And as you know, that in Egypt we don't have snow, and it was a good chance that the Japanese students choose the very interesting topic for Egyptian students that they have never heard before. And group number 4 showing language and old tales of Japanese stories. And group number 5 was showing the famous places in Japan and also in Egypt. And the group number 6 was showing the Japanese instruments. The Egyptian side, or the Egyptian students, where they chose another topics. And this was also was giving freedom for students to provide anything they want and to come up with their own contents and then show and work on it. In order to provide a follow-up self-development process, a student self-achievement card per period was used. Students were asked to fill in this card at the end of each period of study process. The study also provided a before action interview to measure students' learning development and strategies they use in developing their contents. Also to highlight the significant difference of students' academical outcomes in both cases, the conventional learning style, which is a teacher-centered approach, and the CSCDM learning style, which is students-centered active learners and educators. Another after-action questionnaire to teachers and students were provided to investigate the effectiveness of the CSCDM on self-engagement, self-development, intrinsic motivation, and psychological learning development. The research design illustrates the three phases: form, inform, and reform. This figure shows the CSCDM instruction process through 6 periods of integrated study. Let's have a look in each phase. In form phase, students are provided the opportunity to develop requested topics by the teacher in order to be engaged in training process. Students connect between past and present learning, also focus students' thinking on the learning outcomes. This stage provided the opportunity students to select their own method and strategy of developing their contents right after the training course. The inform phase, which is the strategy developing phase. Students verbalize their conceptual understanding. Students work in rules inside their groups. Each group demonstrates its methods, strategy, and new skills applied to other groups and teachers. And here comes the rules of the teachers for some corrections, linguistic corrections. Other groups select the best method and tool in order to use it in the final target of this study, which is cross-culture DVD. The reform phase is to extend the students' conceptual understanding, get feedback from international partners. This is the time that students' rule transfer from active learners to active educators. Japanese students receive new topics from Egyptian students. Then, this cycling learning starts in new recommended cross-culture topics. The slides here shows the difference between the 5 E's and the CSCDM, which is 6 E's and R. The 5 E's, as we mentioned before, that was created by the biological science curriculum study team, led by the principal investigator Roger Bybee in 2008. Um, Bybee created the concept of 5 E's, which is engagement, exploration, explanation, elaboration, and evaluation. In 5 E's concept, students present their contents as a knowledge. But in CSCDM, 6 E's and R concept, students present their methods and strategies they used to achieve their goal and to complete their content. And also, they extend their learning approach to further international learning environment. The implementation. Let's have a deep look on the implementation. And here in the implementation slide, you can see the three phases: form, inform, and reform. And also, you can see the gradual progress from learner to active learner and then to reach the final approach, active educator. Inform phase. Each group works separately to learn how to use IT tools and editing softs such as PowerPoint, Movie Maker, and Photoshop. Teacher provides short presentation on how to use tools and softwares. Each group selects their tool and the convenient software to edit their topic based on their previous experiences. Rules are divided among members such as writer, photographer, editor, and presenter. In this stage, the opportunity is given to students who are good at using IT tools to train their group members. Each group ends this phase with final editing presentation on what tool did they use and which software and how did they create their scenario. Inform phase. Each group presents its methods and strategies. Other groups take notes and vote for the useful method and tool to be applied in developing the target contents, which is cross-culture DVD, to be exchanged with students in Egypt. Reform phase is the stage where all groups merge together to work in one team to develop the target contents. Each group selects a topic which is very related to the target contents. All groups apply same scenario, same tool, and same software. Rules of all groups are merged, such as writers of each groups are in charge of collecting and developing data. Photographers are in charge to documenting process, and editors work together to finalize the cross-culture DVD. Then they exchange DVD with Egyptian partner. Here is the time where the learning cycle takes place. The CSCDM learning cycle is presented in two processes. First, international partners exchange new request topics. Second, international partners exchange their presentations on how they accomplish their contents and their strategies. Here, both students in Egypt and Japan provide method and strategies as educator. Let's have a close look on the final merged Japanese group's scenario. We can see that Japanese students presented their methods in 3 ways. First, with illustration. Second, in Japanese language. And third, in English. Japanese teachers check Japanese language correction. ALT, Assistant Language Teacher, checks English language correction. Here we can see some of the experimental process through the 3 CSCDM phases: form, inform, and reform. Inform phase, students receive training and PC literacy. Inform phase, students create and develop their methods and strategies within certain rules. Reform phase, students create their final product as educators. Results. The results show significant difference in some measured statements. It shows improvement in motivation and interaction through CSCDM. For example, looking at the statement of "I engaged all" period, we can notice the positive attitude of experimental group than their attitude towards their performance in the traditional learning style. We can see improvement in self-achievement through CSCDM than with traditional learning style. Looking at the statement of "I achieved all tasks," this statement shows the significant role of CSCDM in engaging students and increasing their intrinsic motivation in an effective learning environment. Here's figure number 8 shows the motivation percentage. And figure 9 shows the effectiveness of the CSCDM. The teacher's questionnaires highlighted the students' psychological outcomes as it's shown in the CSCDM learning development pyramid. The outcomes are listed based on the CSCDM 3 phases: form, inform, and reform. Discussion. What the results show? Number 1, self-correction, and this one was clear for the achievement of the content subject and progressive development of the individual and group learning approach. Also, for the self-monitoring, we can see improvement in reflecting and interpreting new approach. As for intrinsic motivation, it shows progress in learning approach and the significant transformation from knowledge receiver to educator. Also, the result shows a progress in conceptual and cognitive learning outcomes through positive learning environments and developing learning concept for better learning assessment. Limitation. For time, the study only ran in period of integrated studies, which is only 8 times a year. Group discussion time management was short. Homeroom teachers limited time for follow-up. Others, for example, like more use of IT communication tools, foreign language ability for communication, and less interest in own culture study. In the future, as for more further improvement in learning environment, I would extend the use of CSCDM into other elementary schools. I would cover more topics and area at society. I would develop more PC literacy of students. I would extend the experimental to real-life situation in cross-cultural study. And finally, I would support elementary teachers in taking advantage of the CSCDM to apply with school subjects. And here is the reference of my study. Finally, I would like to take the interesting quiz with you. Alright, so the question here is, what are these numbers in Arabic? We have 3 numbers showing the screen, 2 digits each, so from left to right. So, can you figure them? Alright, check your answer. This is number 1 in Arabic, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. A good hint, isn't it? Okay, then let's check together the answer. 1. So this is 41. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, 6, 7, 8. So the answer is 78. 9, 10. So the answer is 95. Okay, and then 95 is very interesting because this one in Japanese is 90 and English is 90, but in Arabic language is 95. Thank you for listening and thank you for taking this quiz, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Goodbye, everyone.